diagram that we've created to show you where the Lagrangian points are located. So these gravitational equilibrium points allow us to put a spacecraft at those locations with very low use of fuel. So since we have a spacecraft that we look at all the time at Lagrangian point 5 known as stereo A, which views the sun in this sort of an orientation with the Earth off to its right, we regularly show stereo A imagery. And we'll show you the rest of these coronagraphs here momentarily, but first the one from stereo A. So stereo A's coronagraph here showing us some missing data. We've got a large portion of missing data here, like 16 hours worth. So yesterday at 5:19 and a half, so 7:30 Universal Time yesterday on September 5th, through today at about 11:23, we see no data there. So let's take a look at the difference imagery and see if we can find something there, as there certainly was a CME, and it was stealthy. So here's the difference imagery, and this often shows us something that the other imagery lacks. Unfortunately, okay, we do have the data there, and you can sort of see a little bit of a hint of that. It's a very diffuse cloud of plasma there, not real obvious on any of the imagery. So let's take a look at the SOHO spacecraft, which are located at Lagrangian point 1, right between the Earth and the Sun. So anyway, what we're saying here is that we forecasted this coronal mass ejection. Apparently, we don't only forecast obvious coronal mass ejections, also stealthy ones. So this one was actually stealthy enough that we missed it in today's daily space weather video, partially because it's so diffuse and minor, and partially because the stereo A imagery was missing. So anyway, here you can see a tiny, barely detectable halo here, and this is what you would expect with a minor diffuse coronal mass ejection. We've left up the coronal mass ejection warning as a result of this, because there is a lot more plasma to get ejected yet. Solar flare warning still in effect, and here you can see on the LASCO C2, you can see a little bit of that halo there. This one will most certainly strike Earth, but it's not, I wouldn't expect it to barely even register on the geomagnetic scales. Here's the rock back and forth on the C3. Not quite as obvious on the C3, but you can see a bit of a halo there. Not really like a defined halo, but more of just an increase. Tiny bit of a halo showing up there. The contrast not great there on the left imagery. So anyway, again, for you new viewers, that's located at Lagrange point 1. That's the SOHO LASCO C2 and C3 coronagraphs. So yeah, that's about it, folks.